I was fortunate enough to meet 6 of the really top stars of the golden age through my relationship with Mr. Capra. The first one was probably Claudette Colbert. Now, she worked for him in It Happened One Night, and she was living in Barbados. And after we saw that film together, he said, "How would you like to speak to Claudette tonight about the film?" I said, "Of course." So he gave me her phone number, and we had a number of conversations about her career. And if you check on YouTube, I think I'm the only person who has a recorded interview with her. On YouTube. There may be someone else, of course. The second one was his favorite actress, Barbara Stanwyck. Barbara Stanwyck came to Columbia Pictures, I think, in about 1929, after having gone to all the other studios, been screen tested, and was totally rejected. Her husband, Frank Fay, begged her to go home. There's nothing here. As a favor to Harry Cohen, Frank Fay arranged the final screen test for Barbara, and no one at Columbia thought she had any talent except Frank Capra. He saw something in her that no one else saw, and as we all know, she became one of the truly great stars of Hollywood. He then introduced me to his best male friend, Jimmy Stewart, and they were like two brothers. To see them together was quite something. And Jimmy Stewart was a lifelong friend of mine. I probably knew him for 25 years, been to his office many times. And my favorite Jimmy Stewart story has to do with his genuineness, his sincerity. I was sitting in the office, and behind him were stacks and stacks of photos, up to the ceiling. And I said, "Jimmy, what is all that?" He said, "Oh, those are young people who want me to autograph photos for them." And I said, "Take you 10 years to do that. Maybe you should have a secretary do it or get a stamp." He got up and he looked me in the face and he said, "Al, those people who buy movie tickets spend their hard-earned cash to see me. I am not going to send them a fake autograph. It may take me 10 years to do all of it, but they can be guaranteed it's my signature. And I know others do it and use stamps, but that's not my thing." Then, of course, he introduced me to Katharine Hepburn. And Hepburn was interesting. We had a phone friendship that lasted probably 15 or 20 years. And she was the most candid individual I've ever met. If I asked her a question that she thought was foolish, she would say, "Alan, isn't that a stupid question? You've gone to college, haven't you? You can do better than that." And, you know, she really meant it, and she never held back. The last star I'd like to talk about is the great Myrna Loy. Capra directed Myrna Loy in a racehorse picture with Warner Baxter. And she was the delightful person, and she was the opposite of stars who have a big ego. She never thought of herself as a great star. She called herself a working actress. I remember we saw Libel Lady together, the great picture with Tracy, Harlow, and William Powell. And I commented to her how much I liked that picture. And I said, "It's wonderful to have 4 of the greatest stars of the golden age in one film." And she says, "Alan, you're making a mistake. You mean 3 of the greatest stars." And I said, I don't follow. She said, "Well, you're not going to put me in the category of Spencer Tracy, William Powell, or Jean Harlow, are you? They were larger than life. I'm just a working actress." So here you have one of the great stars not even able to put herself in that category. And of course she is. Ask any film historian or film critic. She is one of the great stars. But modesty was her thing. And what was charming about it is that she was sincere. She was not putting it on. So those are some of the great stars I was able to meet and in some way become friends with due to my relationship with Mr. Capra.